So.
I feel like you downplayed it. You're like, I went from signing my friends to Grant Cardone. Like, that's maybe the biggest leap in client quality of all time.
Yeah, I mean, but it came so fast. Like, and that was the thing, too.
How'd you sign him?
What is going on, y'all? Welcome back to the sticktalk podcast. Today we have a very special guest, our good friend Ryan. Welcome to the show, man.
Thanks for having me.
I just want to start off. The reason I'm wearing this watch is because of you.
Which one is that one?
To the PRX Tissot.
Nice.
So you posted a clip. It was like the best watch under $1,000. It was the G-Shock. And I'm like, that's a pretty dope watch. But then one comment said, nah, the PRX. And I was like, that's the one.
Hey.
So you didn't take his advice? That's the
Hey,
moral
his
of the story?
content led me to a purchase. I think that's
Hey,
a pretty powerful.
So there's actually good people in the comments.
Yeah.
Some.
That has not been my experience.
Few, very few.
Yeah.
Dope. Well, I mean, the G-Shock's a good one still, though.
Yeah.
I haven't been wearing that because I've been wearing this lately. So.
That's clean, bro.
But this is fake.
It's fake.
Yeah. I wanted to test out to see if I liked wearing a audacious bracelet.
Yeah.
So I bought a $200 one from Jackson. And the ironic thing is everybody thinks it's real. So like I don't even know if I'm gonna buy the real one.
It looks
because
real.
it's
Just the appearance, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
If you
And I
appear-
like it. I'm like,
Yeah,
it looks
nice.
good on the tattoos. So.
Yeah. It's clean.
Yeah, dude. I mean, I started posting on TikTok 2 months ago, and the comments are just like insane. But I feel like you get numb to it pretty quickly.
You do. It's like, but I always tell people it's like you're numb to it to a degree until you, like, it's like the worst day of your life. Like
Yeah.
it's like your mom like kicked you, hates you, like you got in a fight with your wife or girlfriend, like your kid tells you you're an idiot, and then you just happen to open up Instagram or TikTok, and it's like you're a piece of shit. I hope you die. And you're
Doesn't
like,
help the
man.
situation.
No, the one that hurt a little bit was someone went out of their way to DM me like, "Fuck you, you worthless piece of shit," and I was like, "All right."
Oh, wow.
That one hurt a little bit.
I don't go in the TikTok DMs. I stay out of that. Instagram DMs.
I
you know.
unfortunately go in the DMs because it's a good lead funnel for.
I was gonna say our
Yeah.
friend Josh, he runs like the social media money page on TikTok, and
Yeah.
he's like going through his DMs, and he like missed a DM from Mike Malak being like, "Yo, could you do clips like this for me?"
Oh,
and he's
wow.
like, "I gotta start going through
Yeah,
my
yeah.
TikTok DMs."
I every once in a while I've gone in there, but like I don't know, like I'm like, well, especially like it depends on my mental like health. I don't want to say like it's like my emotional mood
Yeah.
swings are like it's good for me to go in there because then, but usually if I do that, you probably see me on Instagram. Like I'll find a really bad comment, I'll screenshot it, and then I'll zoom in on the person's face really like to the
just
point
post
where
that.
everybody looks stupid.
I just do the reply video on TikTok with a bad comment because you know that they're not going to clap back with a video.
No,
Yeah.
nobody.
It's like
well,
I want to
they're
see you get on camera and come back. And
Yeah,
be-
Chewbacca 997 that just told you to kill yourself isn't going to get up there and also film a video. 'cause
And
And they're
he's living in his
also
mom's
they're always
basement.
a private account. I'm like, man, like I
Yeah.
can't even make fun of your pictures like
they don't post-
silently.
Give me something.
Yeah, give me something to look at and laugh about.
I feel like TikTok is the most unique platform where it's the smallest percentage of users that have actually posted a video.
I mean, everybody's a viewer. Like, and even if they did post a video, it's like them with like a water bottle, like doing a flip or something. It's like it's not even their face. And
But like
the
everyone's
voiceover.
tweeted, everyone's Instagrammed, no one's TikToked.
Yeah, and then Instagram's like I mean, my Instagram comments are pretty good. Like as a whole, like it's such an interesting thing. It's like because the same video goes on TikTok, that goes on Instagram, it goes on YouTube Shorts, and then the comment spectrum across all of them. Once like if they all go viral, you're like, wow. People are way nicer on Instagram, and that's saying a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, you know, but I guess that's just the demographic. Like, you know, they under 30, I would say even under 25 demographic, man, they're angry. Like they got a lot of hostility, like some pent up aggression happening.
Yeah.
So-
Especially whenever you talk about money.
yeah, money, girls, like sex, like I mean opinions. Like
Yeah,
you cannot have an
politics.
opinion or like all the shit that's gonna get you views because it's gonna trigger the fuck out of the 18 to 25 year old
The best is
demographic.
when the organic arguments happen in your comments. You're like, this is going viral. Let's
Those are
get it.
good.
It's
yeah,
like, oh,
that's
this,
I
guy,
mean
this guy's trying to tell me that people make $25 an hour. Like, yeah, that's actually not a lot at all.
or it's like I mean it's like there's a screenshot in the video. Well, you photoshopped it. It's like did I? Like, did I go through that much? Like,
Just to make you
effort
think
to
I'm
fake
making this much.
I mean, I guess
yeah.
people do. Like, I mean, that's why you see those Netflix. What is it? The Inventing Anna, like shit. Like
Yeah.
that was a good documentary. I was like, wow, she really faked everything. But like,
Great documentary.
it takes one person to fake everything, and then you can't do it anymore.
Ruin it for
So
everyone.
it's like, all right, well, this is the internet, and even just like, I mean, catfishing. Like, nobody looks like their internet picture. Like,
Yeah.
I make it a point to like try to at least look like my profile pic. Like,
Yeah.
just.
Yeah,
you
you're
know.
recognizable. when
Yeah,
that
it's
shit
like,
here.
I'm like, I want to
It's
look like this, like, but I see some people, I'm like, damn, you don't look like that, like, and not in a good
now
way.
some of them are using like the AI pictures of themselves. And
Yeah,
it's just
yeah.
like, all right.
I don't know if you saw, like, we just posted some AI pics because we were driving down to Miami last week before like the fucking hurricane, And like we were dying at how much AI was fucking up my pictures. And like we posted it, it was like,
Oh, I think I saw those.
yeah, it was like I could not stop laughing at how like I had 3 fingers in one post. I had like a finger that looked like a penis. Like I was wearing like a robe dress thing, and I'm like, what? Where
are they coming up with this?
A sleeveless leather jacket? Like I was like, what the fuck? Like, but yeah, AI. I will comfortably say AI is still a while out before we have to worry about them taking our jobs. So,
but just for some context for the audience, like, what do you actually do?
So, my name's Ryan Magin. I am technically an influencer. I guess I have about almost 500,000 followers across all my platforms. I make videos for the sole purpose of educating and getting views because my personal accounts are a business card for my video production agency, which is called Viral Edits. We're a team of 14 right now. We do around 4,000 videos a month. We work with majority of the big influencers that you see going viral all the time on the platforms. I've also worked with a lot in the past that you know and that have gone viral on the platforms. Yeah, I mean, the agency itself, revenue-wise, it's $1 million agency. We do anywhere between $80,000 to over $100,000 a month. You know, I don't keep all that. That's gross revenue.
Big disclaimer.
Yeah, big disclaimer there. It's expensive to run a big agency, but like I said, I have a team of 14. Like, you know, we are responsible. Best of my knowledge, we've made well over, on TikTok specifically, over 1,000 viral videos, and that's considered a video with 1 million views or more in, you know, a reasonable time frame. In a lot of cases, it's 24 to 48 hours. But I'll accept one if it goes viral later. That's not counting YouTube, Instagram. Like 7 of our clients, we've gotten well over 100 million views. We've built at least 15 or so accounts to 100K, 7 to over 1 million. And yeah, I am the first person to put the bold, obnoxious subtitles on a video. And if anybody wants to fact check it, it's on my TikTok account, July of 2020.
Damn.
Keep scrolling, and you will find the first video ever with obnoxious subtitles. That
so you're responsible for the white and red big letters on the business videos.
It's a mixture. I will not take full credit. We tried them on my video first, and then Louise, who works with me, and another girl who works with me, Savannah. We were editing the 3 of us solely for a lot of the biggest accounts that became recognizable for those subtitles, and we each kind of put our own spin on it. It was like some of us did the big bold drop shadows, and then, you know, the bold font was like the original font that I did, and the only reason we did that was because I was like, I Googled bold font, and that came up, and it was free, and I was like, sweet, this is easy to read.
Let's go.
Yeah.
And then like the colored like following of the words, I believe Luis started that. It's one of his videos. Then it just morphed into like obnoxious pictures. We were just doing anything we could. Like we started like sound effects. Like I just took like, you know, I learned early on, especially with the younger demographic, you have to edit for retention, and the retention-based editing. I mean, we got pretty carried away when we started. Like looking back now, it's a little obnoxious.
You have to find the edge.
Yeah, but like we were just trying stuff, and like the platform was so new, especially for educators when we started. Like as far as I know, there was less than like 10 educators on the platform.
On TikTok, you're saying?
That's insane.
And it was like Gary Vee was like one of the very early adopters.
Dude is always
I mean, shout out to Gary.
Dude's first to everything.
Yeah. But I mean, one of my friends, Jason Capital, he was very early on. He had already built up a pretty sizable following. Like Glenda Baker was one of the first ones I saw really hammering education. But it was very small. And like when I started, it was, you know, I was a video editor, and I was like, I want to do videos about making videos. So that's kind of what I started. And, you know, I was, you know.
So we're gonna talk a lot about short form and how to go viral and all that good stuff. I'm curious to hear how you first got into video production. Were you a kid that just always had a camera in his hand, or how'd you get into the space?
Yeah, so my dad, I don't give my dad enough credit. I never learned video editing from my dad, but my dad has been a videographer and a video editor most of his life. So I was always surrounded by cameras. I never took an interest into it. But what people don't know about me, because I've kind of been popularized as like TikTok Ryan, like from TikTok, and then, you know, working with clients and the agency side. I've been making money on the internet for over 10 years. Like everything from, you know,
when I like BMX, right?
Yeah, I was a pro BMX racer. I created a DVD, sold that through like a coded website, one page. I did that for a while. Then I got into affiliate marketing, and I did like these, what they called like, you know, vlogs, like fake blogs, and they were like, you know, whereas like you could, you could buy a domain. Like an example of a site was jerseyshoreabs.org. Like I bought, so anybody Google Jersey Shore abs, they found my site #1, partially because I had the exact domain.
Yeah.
And then I would write articles that I would say were really good articles that hypothetically were what they would have done to get abs on the show. And I would sell, fitness products through affiliate links. And I did very well doing that.
Damn.
It was very short-lived. I made, at its peak, it was doing around $1,000 a day. I had 500 sites.
500 sites.
Yeah, I used Elance. I had some Filipino employees making the sites for me, and I was a
You
copywriter.
pioneered the VAs too.
Yeah, like it was Elance was early on, and I could pay $5 a website. So I was just like, and I did that, and then Google kind of.
Wait, was Elance like freelancers? Like
Elance turned into Upwork.
Like,
I believe.
okay.
I believe
Oh,
Upwork.
dude.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
And I did that for almost a year, and then Google changed their algorithm. The Panda update was the update that really made exact match domains useless. Now it's like that shit wouldn't work. I mean, at least not to my knowledge.
Meta tags.
But I mean, yeah, it was peaking, and I had like this audacious dream that I was like, because I was kind of a punk back then. I mean, I was a lot younger. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna make all these sites, and if the network is doing $1,000 a day, I can hypothetically sell it for 2 years worth of income if I can maintain it for 6 months to a year. And I did almost have that. I actually got offers to buy my network of 500 sites. A guy offered me $250,000 for all of them.
How old were you?
I mean, I'm 40 now, so this was maybe 13 to 15 years ago.
Wow.
Like, I said no. I basically told the guy to go fuck himself. And then, like, a month later, Google changed everything, and I lost it all. Damn it.
Google said go fuck
like, in
yourself to
hindsight,
you.
I should have taken that offer. But then I pivoted from that to making. That was when I really, truly started making videos. Because I was doing them for BMX, but they weren't that great. Because the camera technology wasn't that good back then. I was using like a flip cam.
You're doing like the whole GoPro series.
Yeah, this is before GoPro. GoPro came out, like that's, like my dad actually crafted like little, like they called them lipstick cameras, where they were like a tube of lipstick. And he manufactured like his own like kit so he could do a POV camera. And then GoPro came out like 2 years later and like kiboshed that. So, I mean, like, again, I've been surrounded by cameras, but I started a fashion YouTube channel that did pretty well, mainly teaching guys how to dress better to get laid, because I saw that was like a gap in the marketplace. It's called Handsome Guy Secrets. All that's still available. People can check that out. But I did that for a while, and it was doing really well. But I had broken up with my now fiance at the time. We broke up for about a year. And then we got back together, and I had a daughter on the way, and the last thing I wanted to be teaching was like guys how to get laid by how they dress, knowing that I had a kid on the way. And, then I switched to Instagram, and I kind of just fumbled around Instagram, like doing like freelance video work, like ads and shit. And then, when the great sickness came in 2020, I was like, yo, this TikTok thing's kind of legit. And I just kind of used my own experiences, because I was late to YouTube. But I did kind of break through. I mean, I was signed to an agency on YouTube, Influential Media. I was getting brand deals. But I was always really good at attracting attention, because I would go for the more clickbaity titles. And, I was always good at stirring up controversy. And that led to more views, so the brands wanted to reach out, which then kind of funded my Instagram, because they wanted me to make ads for them, because they knew I was able to get attention. And then when, like, pandemic, lockdown, all that kind of played out, like all of them canceled. I was like really broke because I didn't save any money, because I'm an idiot like that. And then I saw TikTok was just an opportunity. I was like, I'm really early. Nobody's educating on the platform yet. And if I wanted to make a YouTube channel about like making videos, I'm up with some stiff competition.
Yep.
It's going to take me at least a year before I break through. I got to come correct with edits, thumbnails, you got to bring the fucking A game on YouTube.
Yeah.
And I knew that, and I didn't have enough time. I was like, I need to make money, because like the world shut down, and I was like, what am I going to do here? So I started TikTok, and I started originally as like a 90-day challenge to myself. I gave myself an hour a day to film and edit a video. And I did that, and I think I got to like video 10, and I got like 500,000 views about a ring light. And I was like, yo, this is dope. I gained like 20,000 followers. And I was like, shit. And then people were like, because I started filming with a camera and editing on my laptop. I never did anything on the phone, which was completely different from what was the norm on TikTok back in 2020.
So it was just standing out.
Yeah, it was, and I knew that. I knew, here's how I stand out. Like, and then I was talking about how the platform was going to turn into an educational platform.
Yeah.
And like all these videos are still there. People in my comments going like, "You're an idiot for the TikTok hates these fucking professional videos," and I was like, "Yeah, they do now."
We only care about the hot people dancing.
Yeah,
There's
and
no
that
room
was
for
the
education here.
competition. Charlie D'Amelio shaking her ass, and like all those.
She did pretty
yeah.
well.
You know, I mean, hey, early adopter. No hate there, but like, like that was the norm on TikTok, and I was just like educating with that. But it wasn't until I want to say like well after the 90 days, that I had my first video go like what I would think, mega super viral. I don't know. It did about 7 million views. It was like how to make friends. And it was when I realized, I don't have to talk about video stuff anymore.
Yeah.
I can talk about shit that interests me and like stuff. Not that video doesn't, but it's like to me that's like this is a small part of who I am. I have a lot of opinions on other stuff, and then I was like, go out by yourself to make friends, and that video blew up, and I gained like 60,000 followers, and I was like, oh
that
shit.
video was fire.
Yeah, and that was like, but I started TikTok, and like I was very clear, and I've always been very clear to like I love making content. I want to provide free value, but I wanted to build a business, and the business was I knew that people, aka content creators, were going to need to figure out how to speak and make videos in the short form world, and they weren't going to know how to do it because they're going to be late.
Yeah.
So like it was a race to 100,000 followers, and in that process, I was also working with my friends to build case study accounts to get clients to turn into what is now the short form video industry.
Yeah.
Which I never knew what would happen, but like for me, it was like I needed a case study, which was myself. And yes, I knew that what is a strong case study from a marketing perspective. It's like I've done it for myself, and then I do it for others.
Yeah.
And not only have I done it for one other, I've done it for multiple others.
Yep.
And in different industries. And
Of significance.
So I knew I needed to get all those. And I mean, what people don't realize is that even the first like year that I had the agency, like it didn't make any money because nobody was paying for TikTok.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I convinced Luis, who's here with us, like, to drive across from California for this TikTok agency idea because, I mean, it wasn't a hard sell back during the pandemic to get him to leave California.
Like, please get me out of here.
Yeah, I was like, yo, Florida's great.
You're
Come
in Florida?
here. I was like, yo, all I can pay you is like $500 a month. But I was actually doing DM sales closing up until like I was making like anywhere from $4,000 to $6,000 a month, like DM closing. But I was like, my bills were pretty minimal because my fiance, she does very well too. So we were splitting everything, but like we kept our expenses pretty low. And I was using like over half the money to pay Luis and Savannah to edit other clients so I could build a company. Like it was like, I need help. I'm not going to be able to do this. I knew I could edit 4 to 7 videos a day, 7 days a week until I fucking lost my mind.
Yeah.
And then like, early on, like we discovered the subtitling because like what people don't realize is I got like attacked by the deaf community on one of my videos because they liked my videos.
Oh, wow.
And I wasn't subtitling. So the subtitles were I was just editing the videos with sound effects and zooms and like slow zooms.
What's going on?
I was editing for retention, but no subtitles, and the app didn't have the ability to subtitle yet. So I made a comment on one of my videos because back on comments, I tend to sit out on my porch and drink some alcohol and like reply to comments when I have when I'm feeling like it. And I said the wrong thing to like it wasn't trying to be an asshole, but it came across that way. They're like, you need to subtitle your videos, and it was like the deaf community wants it, and I was like, isn't there an app for that? Send. There's like a lot of angry deaf people that got mad at me for that comment, and to their defense, I should have been putting subtitles on it because out of spite, I'm like, I'm gonna make the most obnoxious subtitles ever.
Yeah.
And
then you create a whole industry.
And then that became like, but I was actually because like the first time we did it took me like 45 minutes to like subtitle a whole video.
Takes forever.
Yeah, and that was like there was no apps, there was no anything. We're word by word manually doing this and
timing it perfectly.
Yeah, and like I'm like a fucking anal about my precise cuts and like and I was like it took forever, and then I was like, and then I posted it. And then that video did significantly better than the previous video, and I was like, oh shit. And I was like looking at the retention graph, and I was like, fuck, this works. So then I hit up Luis and Savannah. I was like, yo, we got to do this on like all the videos, and like let's see how far we can push it. Like, and so we did, and that's kind of like, and then we were working with some big clients at the time. Specific one was Grant Cardone, the other was Ryan Pineda. And then they were going viral, and then there's another client that came after that I can't discuss, but he went pretty viral too. A lot of people know who he is. And yeah, then it was like everybody, there was an industry made, and you know, that was like the story of like, you know, now it's like the norm. Like, but we also learn now that the subtitles don't do shit. It's all about what you say. So, you know, that's kind of like, you know, the agency that I run, like we're like wildly unscalable what we try to do with our clients. Like we fly to everybody individually. We batch film hundreds of videos at a time. Like we, you know, we manage all the accounts. Like, you know, I have a girl starting on Wednesday. She makes $4,000 a month, and her sole job is to post for all our accounts every 7 days a week.
Wow.
Like we post up to, you know, it's basically 100 videos a day to every platform. Like it just racks up.
That's crazy.
You know,
Is it still the same offer of 100K followers in 90 days?
Back then, I mean, no. It's gotten, obviously, the platform. Like when I first started, I was able to land a lot of big clients because I made a very audacious claim. But it wasn't audacious to me because we'd already done it twice.
Yep.
Like we had done it on we were almost doing it on my account. I was very slow. Like I didn't go to 100K as fast as I should have because I was only posting like 3 to 4 videos a week because I was editing for everybody else. Like, but like, you know, Cardone, Pineda, like we also had like Aaron Marino. I'm Alpha M. He was one of our first clients. Beard Brand. Like we took all these accounts to 100K and you know, in Cardone was like 26 days.
What was it like working with Cardone?
He's awesome because he kind of just like, what I found with most of the bigger clientele, like whales as they would call it, like if you do what you say you're going to do, they don't really, not that they don't bother you, but like they let you do what you're going to do.
Yeah.
You know, you have to earn their trust. And then once you have their trust, it's like, don't break the trust. And you know, but we work closely with them, and, you know, it became, you know, to the point where, I mean, I have my direct contact, which is Alan and Jared. Like they're like his main guys, like, you know, Cardone. We just treat it like whenever, if he ever looks at his account and it's not bigger than the last time he looked at his account, then we need to do something better.
It must be fun working with him because he has so much content and it's all like polarized.
Yeah, he's a unique, you know, somebody like that. It's like a unicorn. And certain clients are, you know, I'm very fortunate. Like it's easy to make some of our clients go viral.
Yeah.
Like it's hard for us to make some of our clients go viral.
Yeah.
Like, and I use myself as an example a lot because like I consider myself a normal guy. Like I've had to train myself how to speak, how to act, how to talk, what to show, what to say, how to edit my videos to get to the point where like I've gotten those views and where I'm popular, you know, because, you know, there's people doing very audacious things on the internet. Like, so you have to compete with that.
Yeah.
You know, like it's hard to compete with somebody like a Cardone when he has a jet.
Yeah.
You know, and he has, you know, Rolexes and, you know, APs, and like he's able to fly his family everywhere, private. Like, you know, there's certain things that like, yo, it's hard to compete with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, if you're just a regular dude.
And he's just good on camera.
Yeah. And he's not afraid to say things that trigger people. Like he has opinions.
Yep.
And you're not going to tell him he's wrong. You know, and like we found that the most successful clients, they all have that quality. And I think that that's what's lacking, like especially in the younger generation. They're afraid to state their opinions because of the backlash that it has. And that even strives from like politics. Like politics has forced the world to divide itself, and it's only getting worse. You know, so it's like you can't be lukewarm anymore. So like when we work,
be on a side.
Yeah, it's like you have to either love it or hate it. You can't be like, I'm okay with that. You know, so like, when we work, like a lot of what we do now isn't necessarily the focus on the edits anymore. It used to be. I used to think I was a genius. I was like, yeah, I figured some shit out. But then
cracked the code.
But then everybody copied, and I was like, yeah, maybe I'm not that smart.
Yeah.
But we were still seeing results with like, you know, myself and like other even smaller clients, and then like the bigger clients. I'm like, what makes it different? And it was that, you know, when we go to a client, like, you know, we come prepared like with you know, with hooks, like we see so much data.
Yeah.
You know, it's very hard. Like it's very hard for somebody to compete with like when you're posting that many videos a day. Like we have a bonus tracker, like and how I pay my team, like we are solely optimized for views. Like it's and I don't understand, like there's like this big misconception, and like people like we make content that converts. And I'm like, the only thing that converts is more views.
Yeah.
Because if your content's not getting seen, then nobody's going to pay you anything. You know, and with the short form algorithm just feeding people content, like you can't choose who sees your content anymore. Like you just have to make content and hope that the algorithm finds the people that it needs to put in place. And, you know, when it came to editing for retention, I was like, you know, as an editor myself, I was like, what motivates me? I was like, the only thing that makes me want to edit more is to get paid more. So like when you're, you know, and I don't mean to say, but like when you're a robot short form editor, because I mean, I was a robot editing 4 to 7 videos a day, 7 days a week, posting them fucking you know, like manually typing out every single word on the subtitles.
You can't be thinking of ideas.
Like, you know, I'm like, you know, so when it came to me like building a team, I said, I want every video you make to have the opportunity for you to make more money. So since day one, I've had $100 bonus for every video that gets 1 million views, for every editor that works for me. We've had to change that because that works when you have a smaller company. That doesn't work when you get 30 to 50 viral videos a month, which is what me and my company do now.
And you sign a client who has 1 million followers.
Like, you know,
this will be easy.
You know, so there is like, you know, I've had to obviously grow as a business owner too, and like have those hard conversations.
Yeah.
Like, but I mean, even still, like, you know, we still bonus for TikTok. Like, TikTok has always been our focus, and for the foreseeable future, it's my only care in the world. It's because if we keep our clients going viral on TikTok, all the other platforms take care of themselves.
Yeah.
Like, because if you can figure out TikTok works, everything else just works. You know, so
just by reposting, or
yeah, just by reposting, because like TikTok's like the cultivator of cool. Like, it's like whatever TikTok deems cool and cultural, like it just works on Instagram.
Yeah.
Like if you make a viral video on TikTok, I mean, I'm not gonna say every time, but like 50% of the time it goes viral on the other platforms too. Like I see that all the time. Like you can like we cross compare all of our accounts. Like we track every single video that gets, if it hits 1 million views on one platform, we track it on all the other platforms to see if it goes viral there too.
Yeah.
Like, and it happens. It's like consistent every single month. So, you know, when people say like we make content that converts, and I'm like, only target the right people. I'm like, you don't understand.
you can't control who you target.
Yeah, and I also am skewed because I'm like, I work with all the people that you follow, that you want to be like, and my conversation with all of them is, how many views am I getting? Like, how big are my followers? Like, we got this many millions. Like, it's a different conversation if you're getting like 20, 30, 40, 50 million views and you're not growing your followers. That's a different conversation to have, because that means that the content isn't resonating. But you don't know that until you get millions of views.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know, if you make one video that gets 10,000 views, you have zero data. Like, it's like you need 1 million views to really see, oh, that hook was shit. Like, you know, so that's kind of, you know, the core of my company has always been like, let's optimize for views. And that I learned that from one of my earliest clients, which is, you know, she's awesome. Her name's Adley Stump. She's primarily a Facebook prankster. She was my first paying client. She's now a friend. She paid me $750 a month to repurpose her Facebook videos into viral TikToks. And I did. We grew to 1 million followers in less than 6 months.
Wow.
I solely ran the account. I edited every single video on up until that point. We don't work together anymore because I needed to charge more, and she had an in-house team at that point.
Yeah.
But we are still friends today. I have an event coming up. She's speaking at my event. She's like a really good friend of mine now. But she was the first person, because I came from like direct response marketing, like all the websites and shit, and like the YouTube channel. Like I was like, yo, what do I would send her these like PDFs of like her follower growth and like stuff, and like show her like the followers and what they're saying. And she's like, Ryan, I don't care how many views did I get. I was like, what? And we did this for like 3 months. I was like, Adley, why do you not give a shit about followers? She's like, I don't get paid from followers. I get paid from views. She's like, followers are a byproduct of views.
So get more views.
And she's like, just keep getting me views. And I was like, so then I started like looking into it, and I was
Shit,
like,
she might be onto something.
yeah, I was like, but she was, you know, in retro, she is a prank. Like all of her stuff is entertainment-based content. So it just forced me to look at like the educators that I was even currently working with, because we were doing a lot of niche content when we started, to being like, you know, what if I have them talk about like, you know, maybe a non-negotiable with their girlfriend or wife?
Yeah.
That's information that people might want to know. Or like, let's talk about like a business failure, or like how much money they spend every month on their expenses, or, you know, this has broad appeal, you know, and it made sense to me. And then sure enough, we started one by one, we started less niche content, more, you know, broad reach, like more relatable personal content. And sure enough, the accounts grew, you know, and it's more of a long-term strategy. Like it's not like, yes, if you make a niche-based account that's very targeted, you're going to make money based on the niche, but eventually you're going to run out of people in that niche.
Yeah.
You know, and I see that all over. It's like littering on the internet of like people that like, I only talk to, you know, 82-year-old women who like to weave baskets. And it's like, how many 82-year-old women are on TikTok?
Yeah.
You know, like, I mean, it's getting more, you know, more props to them for research and learning technology. But like, you know, even
so it's a
realtors.
low LTV audience.
Yeah. So it's
Returning from the earth.
yeah. So I've just, in my experience, and, you know, I have strong opinions and data. It's like the more views you get, the more money seems to come to you.
Yeah.
So for you, when you show up on site with a client, because you mentioned you travel out
Yeah.
to them, and you're ripping like 70 shorts with them.
Our minimum now is 100.
100 shorts in
If
like
we're
one session.
if we're flying to you, we're doing 100 videos. We're doing, on average, 3 hooks per video. So we get
Wow.
300 variations every time we film with you. So if we only posted 1 video a day, we have almost a year of content in 1 day. We don't do that. We post multiple times a day. We post a lot of variations. We test a lot of things.
That's sick.
But 100 videos with multiple hooks, and that's us at least 90 days. And in some cases, factoring in podcast clips
Yep.
and like most of the people I work with tend to go on a lot of podcasts. They speak at events. We have a lot of footage that we can clip up. We're usually good for 4 to 5 months. And the reason for that is we film like once a quarter.
Solid.
You know-
And so what do you show up with? A bunch of hooks? Like, what's the whole strategy behind it? Like, how do you come up with the hooks? How do you come up with 100 different things to talk about?
So I mean, usually the first session is the easiest. Like
'Cause
if
it's fresh.
it's a new client, we can go. But I mean, easiest as far as like we can come up with 100 pretty quickly. And really, we don't even look at what they currently have, because if they're hiring us, they want more views, which means that whatever they're currently making
not gonna
isn't getting them the views. So we look at them as a person, and we come up with like, okay, how do we like for you guys, like I know you like golf. It's like, okay, so tell me like what can we find out about, like how much do you like about golf? Like how
Yeah.
much do you spend money on golf? Like, so it's really, we come with kind of like, I would say 50 loose ideas. And these are hooks, how much money do you spend a month on golf? What's your favorite country club? Like, who's your favorite golfer? Shit like that. Like, and we'll have a list of, in some cases 50, 75, 100, like random ass shit. But before we start a filming session, we actually, at first we didn't record it because a lot of personal details came out. Now we ask them if we can record it, but I call it the viral breakdown. And it's like a podcast, but it's like me asking you the most personal, intimate details about your life. And, I don't immediately come at, it's like, how do I get somebody who doesn't know me, it's the first time we met face to face, to basically open up their bank account and show me how much money they have?
Yeah.
Like, because that's the information I want. Like, show me your last 10 purchases. Like, like shit like that. And that's, so the first like 2 hours of like, and we usually film over 2 days on the bigger clients. So it's, we fly in like, let's say a Wednesday night, we're going to film them 10 to 6 on Thursday, 10 to 6 on Friday, and
8 hours.
usually,
Filming.
yeah, 8 hours of filming, 6 hours, it depends on the client. Cause some can go longer. Some, hit creative fatigue real fast.
Yeah.
Some people we can get 100 in a day and we only have to go 1 day. I like those because it's more profit for the company if I
Yeah.
only have to travel for 1 day. But a lot comes from that first initial like breakdown, where it's just like, I'm just looking for what the internet doesn't know about you that we know because we post so many
People are
videos.
interested in.
People are interested in, and it's like it's not. I don't think, to me, it's not like rocket science to figure out what people are interested in. It's like finances, business tips, advice, like, relationship help, like, making friends. Like, you can just look at society and go, what does society need help with?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And does my client have opinions on that? And if you don't,
Opinions is the one
Yeah.
word that keeps coming up. That's
and
a
that, yeah,
big
it's
thing.
opinions and values, because you want them to spout facts, like, without, like, the tonality has to be like, I'm not wrong.
Yeah.
Like, this is me and my wife, we have a date every Wednesday night. The reason it's Wednesday is because it's halfway through the week and I want her to love me all week. So it's like, that has to be, it's not like, yeah, we try to integrate like, date nights every once in a while. It's like, no, every fucking Wednesday I spend $400 and we go to the Ruth Chris and we buy this, we eat this, we eat here, we do that. And that is why I have a good marriage.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm not fucking with you.
Yeah, it's like, you know something.
Yeah, so it's like, so the more of those we can get and extract from people, the better the videos are going to be.
So-
and I would say they're more impactful.
I know this is the answer is way more nuanced than I'm going to make it out to be, but what constitutes a viral video?
Like, as far as, well, from a view standpoint, it's 1 million views. At least that's the way I put
I mean,
it.
like, what goes into, I'm decently small on TikTok, but when I record a video, I'm like, that's going to hit. Like, you can just tell.
You have a feeling. And, like, with, like, me and Luis, like, we do a lot of the filming as far as, like, it's me and him usually together, because we found it takes multiple people. When you're doing 100 videos, like, now we travel with, there's usually 3 of us, and there's, like, a full, like, Ariana, who's, like, my ops director, she's, like, taking notes. And then me and Luis are kind of bouncing ideas, like, more hooks, like, because we have to come up with, 300 hooks on any given session, because we don't rely on the client for anything. Like, and the client has to trust us, so we have to prove ourselves too.
Yeah.
But to answer your question about like what constitutes a viral video, like is the topic of the video, like, can it get 1 million views?
Yeah.
Like, and that's where you fall into like the categories like, finances. Everybody has a wallet, so like everybody needs to be on has a budget or an idea. So like finances, like relationships. Everybody's trying to get laid or getting a girlfriend or wants a girlfriend or is married. Like, so relationships are there. Like, idea-based content, like business ideas or like hacks or tricks, like things like that. Like, it's like what's the cornerstone of marketing is health, wealth, relationships, finance.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like those are your viral topics, and then it's like the next thing is like, do you have opinions on this that like you can convey with like factual?
Yeah, you have to like feel strongly enough to speak in absolutes.
Speak in absolutes is a good term.
But I feel like, at least in my experience, the videos that pop the most are the things where people have an opinion on it one way or the other. Because then the people will comment one way, and then people will argue them, and then people will comment this way, and they'll argue them, and it just feeds it.
You just and then for the hook, does the hook trigger one way or the other?
Yeah.
Do you agree or do you hate? Like in that, and then usually within 10 minutes of a video being posted, the comments will tell you where this is going. And I hate to say it, but the more angry you can make people, the more views you're gonna get. Like, and that's where. So it's, and how do you make people angry? Like, because I still like, I'm in the business of education. Like, I want to educate people. I generally don't like. We never want to paint a client in a bad light, or myself. I don't ever want to be taken the wrong way with my videos. Like, so it's like, and if I make a video, like, I just ask myself, does this educate somebody in some way, shape, or form? And if the answer is yes, then it's like, okay, then it's my job to get this video seen.
Yeah.
Yep.
So what can I say in the first 3 seconds that is going to trigger somebody, so at least they can hear out the rest of the video? Because
I feel like
that's how it is.
it's also the efficiency of it, because I recorded a video about like social awareness and intelligence, and it got like 600K views, and then I redid it and got rid of like one sliver of the middle.
Yep.
And it went to 5 mil. And I'm like, dude,
Yeah,
'cause
we've
the whole video was just storytelling.
Like, most people would stop at the 600 and be like, yo, that's a good video. Like, I love how you went more, like, because we do that too. Like, we started.
Well, no, that's like the magnet. Like, this video did well. How can I make it better? Like,
yeah, and people, I don't think people. I think people say they look at the analytics, but I don't think they actually look at the analytics. Like, because TikTok, that's why I love TikTok. It tells you the exact second that video drops, which no other platform
I haven't even looked
has
at that.
Like, but you have this feeling too. You're like, when you watch a video and like you just kind of go,
yeah.
I got bored right there.
I lost some.
Yeah.
Like, why did I get bored? Or even like we'll see, like we'll have videos where like, yo, that's a dope video. Why did it shit the bed?
Yeah.
Like, and then you look at the retention graph, and it's like 8 seconds in, it's like you lose 80% of the audience, and you're like,
Yep.
what did I say at 8 seconds?
It's so insane that every single word like matters.
It really does, and we saw that working with some of our bigger clients. I can't speak their names, but one of the videos, like he mentioned a specific liquor brand, and we lost 70% of the audience. Like,
Just
everyone
'cause
wants to
people
know
don't
it was
drink
Jack
that-
Daniels.
Because people don't drink that liquor, right?
I don't know. Like, I still to this day it doesn't make sense to me.
I was gonna say I would never drink Jack
but,
Daniels.
But
I
we
would've-
cut out just the name of the liquor, and the video went viral.
Yeah.
What?
Wow.
Like,
That's funny. That's funny you
crazy.
say like people go away from the videos that already popped. I'm like, I'm lazy, dude. If this shit already worked, I'm just gonna do it again. Like,
Well, we started like that's where like obviously reposting is a strategy, but like I feel like we try to exploit the shit out of that a lot more because one, it's we optimize because I don't want to I love my clients, but I don't want to fly back to them sooner than I have to because that cuts into the profit of the company. And I'm trying to run a successful business, so it's like
It's a for-profit business.
It's a for-profit business, so it's like I have people to pay. So if we have like, let's say we have 10 videos over the like 90 days that went viral, well over 1 million views. It's like the next time we go back, we're like, okay, we're gonna film like 5 different intros for each of these, and we're gonna try them again.
That's sweet.
And then that's why we started filming multiple hooks. Like, I mean, on my account, it's crazy. Like we'll post, Luis goes kind of crazy sometimes. He'll post like 5 to 10 videos of like the same video of like all different hooks and like post them all back to back and then just watch like, 400 views, 400 views, 400 views, 5 million, 300K, 1,000 views, 3,000 views. And you're like, what the fuck? Like, and then, so we just made it the habit to just consistently, like when the videos do well, like we start every team call now with like, we used to do it with the viral videos of the company, but I wanted to kind of, branch out. So like we start each team call, like we meet once a week on Zoom, or Google Meet with my team. and it's like each person picks a viral video and we like dissect it. So it's
Yeah.
like,
That's
what's your viral video? You know, because even the team calls, I always want my team to be like optimized for views, because if we're not getting views, then accounts are dying.
Yeah.
You know, so, you know,
Or someone else is getting those.
yeah, or
views.
somebody else is getting those views, or, you know, and I mean, I've gotten to the point where I'm like, I don't know if, like, you know, I take it not personal, like if we lose a client, because like I'm like, who are you gonna go to that's gonna do a better job? Like nobody's more optimized than me and my company, like, you know, and I can say that with confidence because we have a year head start on everybody, you know, and like people are trying to sit back and just, you know, edit clips or tell the client what to say, like we've tried the Zoom, it doesn't work as well. Like, you know,
You have to be there in person.
Yeah, I would love to just sit back and have somebody else talk to my clients on Zoom and extract viral videos, but like, you know, we do Zoom if we have to fill in gaps, but, you know,
Not for
I
the
know
core.
that, like, if I come there or Luis goes there, or like we come there and we have our plan, and, you know, the whole energy is different. The whole thing is different, you know, and the views reflect that.
Yeah, I have a theory on just TikTok and content in general, because a lot of the people in our space will post super technical content like cold email deliverability, and it's like, yeah, that's going to make you an expert, but to like the 10 people that are watching.
Yeah.
So my theory is, I think if you post viral stuff, you'll get enough views where you'll capture the 1 to 3% of people that are actually interested in the market for your stuff.
Oh, absolutely. Because when you look at like a spectrum of like, you get a video with 1 million views, or like let's say you get 10,000 views on cold email. Like, here's the best cold email to send to get a client. Like a lot of people are trying to get clients.
Yeah.
So like that might hit, you know, the 20,000 freelancers on TikTok right now that saw that piece of content. Out of those 20,000, that means like you could guess that like half of those people watched your video to the end.
Yeah.
You know, so now we have like, let's say 10,000 freelancers. Okay. Now, if you take a more broad reach video and it gets 1 million views, half of those people have to watch the video to the end. So now you have 500,000 people that have watched the video to the end. Now, of those 500,000, they're going to send your other videos to, because they showed the algorithm that, yo, I like this guy's stuff. So I'd rather have a pool of 500,000 people seeing my stuff than my pool of 5,000.
Yeah, I have a really interesting case where this dude's like, I saw your video on some random topic, then I saw a cold email video, and then I DM'd you. I'm like, holy shit.
Yeah, like, you know, and so there is a place for niche-based videos and like your expertise style content and stuff that you're like, you know, in my case, it's like how videos get views. Like I know that if I'm talking about videos and getting views, that my account isn't going to do shit for views, because there's only a certain number of video editors on the app. It's never going to eclipse that unless I like talk about psychology or like, you know, there's ways to finesse it, but it's not as predictable as if like, you know, I make a video about making friends, or I ask somebody how much money they make. Or like there's way more reach in that to at least get my other content seen. You know? So, but that answers your question. It's like,
one of my favorite clips from you is just talking about how like you do what you sell. Because I feel like in the industry of like short form editors, like you'll just get hit up on Instagram like, hey, do you need any short form videos? I'm like, do you? Like, you don't have any on your profile. Like, why would I pay you to do it for me if you're not doing it for yourself?
I mean, I used to be. I mean, I speak a lot from experience because, like, I'm older. I'm 40. Like, I've been on the internet for a long time, and I used.
You're
to
young as fuck.
You
have so much time.
A lot of time left in the Gary Vee world, but like, you know, comparatively to the younger generation, I am old.
You're literally just born.
But yeah, like, you know, I've been the guy selling like my knowledge, but I didn't have the results. That's why when I started TikTok, I was like, I need 100,000 followers. Like, and now I'm like, I need 1 million. Like, you know, so it's like, how do I get there? Because, you know, we just found, even with the company, like, I don't have to sell my services if I'm consistently doing it myself. And I'm also very transparent on my fucking results. Like, my whole Instagram, like, I don't sell my agency services. I just post screenshots of my accounts. Like, hey, I got 20, like I'm going to do a video.
Dude, I guarantee people listening to this right now are like, dude, I want to work with this guy.
Yeah,
and you're not even selling anything.
Yeah, and to be frank, it's like, for me to work with somebody, like, we charge $10,000 a month. Like, you have to be able to produce, like, we're going to make 6 to 9 videos a day for you, and we're going to post that. Like, the average person cannot start working with us and be able to film 300 videos a month. Like, that's a muscle that hasn't even been built yet for most people.
So that's actually a great question. Is like, how can someone in the audience now that hasn't created a lot of short form or just content in general start to build that muscle?
Well, I think it's just reps. It's like, I mean, I do CrossFit. Like, and like when you do CrossFit or even any gym based activity, it's like you're either trying to get faster or trying to get stronger. So it's like, if you're using this as like, you don't bench 315 your first day in the gym unless you're a freak, like, and good on you if you can, but you're not the norm. The norm comes in, they might be able to put up 135 pounds, maybe 95 if you're smaller, so it's like, okay, well, what do? Let's add 5 pounds a week. Like, that's the goal. So, and then over the course of a year, you might see 225. And then, same thing kind of comes with making videos and getting comfortable on camera. It's like, the first 90 days, like, okay, let's try to get 1 video a day, 90 videos. Then month 3 to 6, okay, we're going to go to 2 videos a day. Now it's 180 videos. Then by month 6, if you've been working, it's like, okay, we're going to go to 4 videos a day, because you're getting progressively, and you can do it faster, but it's also, we're looking for quality too. You have to be able to maintain a quality standard. And by quality meaning like, energy in videos, like most people, we've optimized the filming sessions to the point where like, we do 10 to 15 videos, then you take a break.
Just rip an espresso.
Yeah, then it's like, and we don't want that. We don't want you to eat. Like, we push back your eating as far back, because the second you have lunch, it's over.
Yeah.
Like, you're,
the pasta in you, you're just like, oh.
Yeah, like, so it's like, just eat light snacks, protein shakes, like, and most of the clients understand that, so it's like an optimization of energy too. And then you see a point. It's like, the first filming session, like I've worked with big names, like the first filming session is like 50 to 60 videos, like, and they're like struggling after that. Like their brain is mush and they're like speaking in tongues, and myself, or like when I'm directing them, is like, hey man, we got to call it. Like, these videos aren't that good, but that's why we started doing the multiple hooks, because like we have enough, like, because they'll keep pushing, but I know, I can tell from the quality, it's just not, these aren't going to do well. And then like the next session, it's like, okay, we want to get 75. Like, and then the next session, it's like, the most we've gotten is like 120. But it's like, we have to optimize the day. Like, it's like different locations, different scenarios. You're moving around. It's different types of content. It's interview style. It's direct to camera. It's like podcast clips. Like, so it's really just maneuvering energy to keep the sustained. Because it used to be we would post all the best videos first. It's like, videos 1 through 40 were banging. Videos 40 to 60, I don't know about those, and then, so we would have to like, also like, so we started like little codes, like, rocket emojis next to certain ones, like, so we could see like where we got that feeling you're talking about, like, that was a good video, or like the passion, so it's, I think what most people, especially, short form editors now, they're at a severe disadvantage, because like, you can't rely on the client, because all clients and anybody that makes content for the internet thinks that their shit is the best.
Yep.
Yeah.
When in reality it's subpar. Like, so, and somebody like myself, like, I can talk to a client and they look at 1, my account, or 2, my clients. And
Your
they're like,
portfolio.
I believe him.
Yeah.
So if you're lacking both of those, you have no leg to stand on when it comes to telling a client what you need to get them the results that they're paying you for. Because nobody's paying you just for cool videos anymore. Like, or at least if they're, if you're charging less than $3,000, like $3K was like, we saw big, like, because I mean, when I started, like, Adley, $750 a month. And then I was like, and then I got like Aaron Marino with I Am Alfam, and some of my other friends, I convinced them to pay me $1,500 a month. And then it was like, and when I started with Cardone, and this is just TikTok. Like, because there was no Reels and Shorts yet when I started this. Like,
oh wow,
it was just TikTok, and I'm like, yo, you need TikTok. I'm selling TikTok to people that didn't give a fuck about TikTok, And it was like, and then I remember when I got Grant, I was like, well,
he's got money.
Now's the time to double my fees again. So like, I mean, it was like even at it was $3K a month just for TikTok, And I'm like, and then like we started getting into like big boy land, which is like 4, 5, 6, like. It was like once I eclipsed $5,000 a month, the conversations were no longer about videos.
Yeah.
It was all about performance and results.
Yeah.
And that's, where people are coming in now, like, yeah, we do this style video. Like,
no one cares.
It's like, it's, we're charging $20 a video. But I also know that, like we optimize the editing team to do 6 videos a day. And it's different. We have minimal style and we have like the OG style, which is like what we're known for. And we're, if we're having a heavy day of like OGs, like the minimals are less. Or we have, if we need a lighter day of editing, because it's also, we've been doing this long enough. Like I've watched editors burn out. I've watched editors like fall apart. I've watched editors quit. Like, because short form is a 7-day-a-week, never-ending job. Like it never stops.
Intense.
Like even the posting position, like, we post for all our clients because automated softwares fucking suck, and they, I can't confirm nor deny, but everybody I've ever talked to, they fuck up your views. Like, so we have a human. And it's like, so we have clients that were like, they're like, we want to post at 7 a.m., 12 p.m., and 6 p.m. And I was like, what if my client has to go to church? Like, or my poster, like, it's a human being.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, they're at dinner on a Saturday night with their family at 6 p.m. Like,
They're not going to be just shooting on
like,
post.
So it's like, these are things, like, problems that, like, I deal with.
As a business owner.
As a business owner, that I'm like, like, and we know, like, I also know that none of that shit matters. Like, you've probably seen it. You have videos that go viral.
Friday nights are always my viral videos. It's so weird.
Nice, yeah.
Is that a thing? Is Friday night a thing?
Makes sense. Like, it's like, what are people doing on Friday night if they're not out getting drunk? They're just scrolling.
Yep.
Like we used to post at, like, because we were editing so many videos, we'd post at, like, in contract, I always had one video a day. Well, some days my day didn't end till 4 a.m. because I was still editing. So we would post a video at like 3:30 in the morning, and then go to sleep.
Yeah.
And the client would be like, wake up and I say, yo, why? Like, we had 2 videos today. I was like, one at 3:30 in the morning and one at 7 p.m. I was like, well, technically that was one day because we went to sleep,
Yeah.
But we also found that whenever we posted, like, it didn't matter. Like, the videos that were going to get views ended up getting the views they deserved anyway.
Yeah.
So, there's a lot of myths and shit that, like, I've made tons of videos. They're always, like, the funnest ones because, like, the whole editing community hates me because of it. And I'm just like, do you even post? Like, I prefer, like, to post my videos late into the night because what am I doing late at night?
Scrolling. Yep.
And the algorithm is going to show the video when it wants to show the video to whoever it needs. So
I had one that had like 1,000 views for like 2 weeks, and it just went out of nowhere. I'm like, what the fuck?
That's the thing too. Like, we used to delete low viewed videos or private them, but we're just like, fuck it. Like, 6 months later, a video might go viral because you had another video go viral, and then, like, I've had big videos like 5, 6, 7 million views, and all of a sudden, like, old videos pop off because now it had the audience. Like, a lot of my early videos, even when they went viral, like, there weren't enough people on the app. So a lot of my older videos started going viral when there was more people on the app.
Yeah.
Like, the algorithm doesn't forget. Like, they want to keep feeding videos to people.
Yeah.
So.
I feel like you downplayed it. You're like, I went from signing my friends to Grant Cardone. Like, that's maybe the biggest leap in client quality of all time.
It was,
not necessarily quality, but like notoriety.
Yeah, but it came so fast. Like, and that was the thing too.
How'd you sign him?
Well, so I'm very big on networking. And like, one of the things, like, and I've always been, I'm always been very good, one, at talking to females and making friends. And that was a skill set that kind of like my dad instilled in me. He said, you should always be the guy that knows the guy,
Being
and
the guy. I love that.
And I was like, okay. So, like, I was always kind of the weird kid in high school. I was the extreme sport athlete guy. Like, we never really had, like, we had our other, like, we had skateboarders, rollerbladers, and then BMXers. And none of us really hung out together. It was like you clicked up, and there weren't as many BMXers as there were everybody else. So it's like, I always found myself being friends with, like, the jocks, and then I was friends with, like, the cheerleaders, and I was friends with, like, maybe the book club. Like, I always just found myself, and I always found, there was always a benefit in knowing somebody in different social circles. So I applied that to, like, my business when I started, especially with TikTok, because I'm like, nobody knows this shit yet. So, like, is there a Facebook group about TikTok? And sure enough, there was one. It was TikTok Marketing Secrets, which is, is a guy, he's a friend of mine, Michael Sanchez. He had like 500 people in the group when I joined it. And now it's like almost over 20,000, I think. But, like, and I've always been a fan of paying for friends, as in, like, I need to pay for access to talk to certain people. And Michael did not know who I was. I joined his Facebook group. I understood that. And he offered, like, $100 consultings. So instead of buying just one consulting, like, at the time I was running 3 accounts. We were growing 3 accounts. So I bought 3 consultings, $300. It was, like, the best $300 I've ever spent. But I didn't pay for it all at once either. I paid $100 at a time, so he saw my name 3 times.
Yeah, I heard this. Story.
Yeah, and then he reached out. We scheduled our calls, and I did my account last. The first one was Overtime Athletes, which is my friend Chris. I still run his account to this day. He's a good friend of mine. The other one was Elliot Hulse, still my friend to this day.
He's a beast, yeah.
Yeah, he's been banned. Like, we have, 3 or 4 different accounts banned for Elliot. Like, he's aggressive. I love Elliot.
He's a beast.
But then, then he got to mine. And he was like, oh, I've seen this athlete account. Oh, I've seen Elliot's account. I didn't know you were the one running this. And then he got to my account. He's like, dude, you're that guy who's making the edited videos on TikTok. I show your videos to my mastermind group. And because I was practicing what I preach, we became acquaintances, if you will.
Yeah.
And then he led to that $300. A week later led to Adley Stump making a post in his Facebook group, looking to start making TikToks. I'm already proven to go viral. And there was a lot of comments on recommending video editors, but then Michael commented, I only trust @RyanMagin. So I landed Adley.
Yeah.
And then a month or two later, same thing. He saw my results with Adley because she was already at like 500,000 really quick. And I guess Cardone's team had reached out to him because he owned the group, asking best practices for editing clips into TikToks. And they were like, who do you know that can do this, that we can hire? And he recommended me.
Wow.
And then literally it was a Facebook message from Michael to me that said, hey, do you have any room for more clients? And I was like, obviously. I was
yeah,
like,
of
still,
course.
I was like still kind of broke at the time. I was like, absolutely. I mean, well, availability is kind of thin. You know? I don't know. It depends
Let
on
me
the
check with my assistant.
Yeah, it depends on the
He's
client.
like Grant
bro.
Cardone. He's like, oh, I'll see if I can fit
And then
him in.
he's like, Grant's team's going to be reaching out to you. And I was like, get the fuck out of here. He's like, no. Jared's going to contact you. And he's like, I gave him your phone number because we had exchanged phone numbers because of Adley. And sure enough, like 3 o'clock or so the next day, but this is where like, I've been selling my whole life. Like I used to work at Lowe's Home Improvement. I sold doors and windows. I was a top salesman in the door and window department, big achievement. But I credit Lowe's, like retail as a whole really taught me how to cold approach selling.
Yeah.
Because I had to convince people to buy the higher end stuff because I made commission on that. I didn't make any commission if they just walked off the floor with it. So early on I started being like features, benefits, like, and I mean, there were certain things that were very easy to sell, but at the same point, like I learned, I would just walk up to people. How can I help you today? You guys looking for a door? Cool. You need windows? Awesome. What's that? And that translated into like, I'm talking to, Jared and Alan on speakerphone, and I'm like, they're like, yeah, so, we recommended you, like, what can you do? And I was like, well, I mean, let's be real. There's nobody else doing this. So I'm the only person. And my track record so far is this, and this, because, like, it was 3 accounts to 100K in less than 90 days. And I was like, and I literally said, the guarantee was, if I don't get you 100,000 followers in 90 days, I'll edit your account for free until I do. And I've done this 3 times already. So really the question is do you want to invest in TikTok? Because, again, they were very early on, too. Like, this was still not a thing yet. There was no Reels, no Shorts, nothing. It was just TikTok. And I said, so I guess and they're like, well, yeah, we want to be an early adopter. And I was like, well, I guess the next question is, I'm going to throw out a number, and you're going to say yes or no. And I threw out, and at the time, that was like the $3K a month, and that was the most, and they said yes. And we had Grant Cardone 100,000 followers in like 26 days. And we've been, thankfully, like, and I was very, like, we signed an NDA. Like, I was very, like, we worked with them for like 6 months before I even asked them for anything because we were just clipping their stuff. And I had a call with Alan, who's like my main point of contact, and he's like, I was like, hey, because I wanted to get more from Grant. I was like, we can do more, we can get better results, but we need this, and this. Like, and I was like, oh my God, dude, we forgot we were working with you guys because every time we just check the account, there's results, and we're like, yo, they're doing a great job, and like we just forgot. And I was like, well, that's cool. I was like, can we do more? Like,
yeah,
and then that's we've upped the volume. Like, I'm Grant, they pay more than that now, but we do a lot more work for them too. But that guarantee was, it was like my money back guarantee. And I never said that you would stop working with me. I just said we would get you this, and I would pause the billing until we got you to 100K, and then I would just restart as if nothing happened. Yeah. So I was not afraid to. And now my guarantee is a little different now because that was back 2 years ago when there was a lot less competition.
Yeah.
And it is harder now. It's much harder now. So we do now. It's more of a if I haven't made you go viral in 90 days, like, and by viral meaning if we haven't got you a 1 million plus view video yet, there's something wrong. We need to figure it out.
Yeah.
And I have a client right now that like we didn't get it. Like I fail all the time too. Like, we didn't get her 1 million views, and she's currently, her billing's paused. Like, we're still, like, we just went out, I ate the costs. We went out, we filmed with her this was like a long day. So we did 1 full day, and, I mean,
It's going to work eventually.
Hopefully it'll work, if it doesn't, then but I also take offense because I'm just like, if I can't do it, who can? So like, I want to help them.
Yeah.
And I've always, and I've been in business now, at least with like the recurring video, like retainer clients, if you will, like to know, like the longer there's somebody's with you, the more money you end up making.
Yeah.
Yep.
So like, I don't like the fast churn. So like, if I have to forego 2 months of like a $6K a month billing, so $12K, but then we figure it out, and then they stay another 2 years. Like,
It's worth it.
It's
So
worth it,
Yeah.
So, and that's how, like, if I was somebody now trying to get a client, I'd be doing like 90 days free. Like,
Yeah.
I'd be trying to beat their current team. Like, I would
Yep.
look at it as in like, and if I can't do it, then I don't.
You don't deserve the
I don't
business.
deserve to get paid. Like, maybe I need to get a different job.
So, like, the last 5 minutes right there, there's tons of clips, that we can post all over social that have potential to, get views. So how do you think of like going on podcasts and clipping up podcasts specifically to get views?
So it's harder.
Yeah.
Because you can't control things.
Yep.
Now, one thing that when I go on, and I look at podcasts as a challenge because I want to speak in clips.
Yep. That's what I'm kind of like seeing
Yeah.
the patterns, right?
And this is something like, because there's a number that we use Buzzlytics to like see like the total view counts and stuff, but it also tells you the video count. And I think I've made like over 1,100 videos on my TikTok account.
Wow.
So it's like, I want to, like, when it comes to podcasts, I think the conversation is much more natural, so,
Yep.
but the problem is a lot of people forget details and there's no definitive hook unless the person is trained to speak in hooks, and I saw, like, we call it speaking TikTok. Like, I've really forced my speech patterns to be very sharp, very direct, very punchy. I try to do better at that every time I get on a podcast because, like, the podcast is going to get views, as a whole, as a long form. But I know for you guys, like, I'm not, like, if you posted, your interview with Ty, like, Ty's name carries a lot more weight on the internet as a whole than, like, Ryan Magin.
Yeah.
So, like, I'm going, like, if you guys are interviewing me, like, I want to do my job and get you guys some big clips because what's going to happen? Like, one, I get millions of views. One, two, it helps you guys out, so you're going to want to have me on again.
Yep.
So it helps everybody if, like, so it's kind of gamifying the podcast world. And we even do, like, if like we clip some stuff, like, because, like, I mean, I'll obviously ask for the raw file, and you guys, so it's like, if and I have a timestamper. I have somebody that, like, a younger guy, his name's Jacob. He's awesome. He clips the podcast for myself and clients, and, like, that's another person I employ. He's paid anywhere from $10 to $20 per clip. He's also bonused if his clips go viral. Like, that's how serious I take the podcast clipping game.
Yeah.
Because it's two separate people. Like, it's like if you could be a good video editor, but you're not a good clipper. Like, and I found that the best clippers are under the age of 21 because they're tapped into the culture. Which is, in some cases, not the easiest people to deal with from a business owner perspective.
Yeah. And I have high school class right now. Like, I can't edit.
But,
This one kid we know was like, we had a 15-year-old kid on our team, and I'm like, he's like, I want to go ride my bike, man. Like, I don't want to do this.
Yeah, like,
Bro, it's summer.
I mean, dude, like, shout out, like, Jacob's awesome. Like, I had another guy, younger guy, Stefan. Stefan was awesome too. He went on to start his own agency, which is kind of, I love to see that, but it also sucks because he was really good.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to let him go, but I was also like, I can't pay you what I know you're capable of making.
Yeah.
And, that's something that as a business owner, I have to have that conversation with, people. It's like and I'm never in the business to hold anybody back. Like, I don't want to hold you back. Like, but as a time stamper, this is the market rate, and, like, I'm going to pay you above market, plus I'm going to bonus you. Like, but I can only pay you up to this much.
Yeah.
And then it's like, so, but for somebody his, I mean, shit, he just graduated, so he's, like, chilling, doing, like, $3,000-$4,000 a month. Like,
That's sick.
But I mean, he gets results, and, like, that's the, back to the podcast clip, like, he watches clips not from that was a great clip. It's like he's listening for hooks, and then he's like, can I build a clip around that hook, which is a different skill set than, so when I started seeing him do that, and then the editor edit that, and then the videos get views or not get views, I'm like, okay, I can erase all that if I just speak better.
Yep.
Yeah. So that's what we've kind of, like, when you were asking earlier, like, how do you go viral? It's like, you have to speak it.
Yeah.
Like, you shouldn't need to edit a clip. Like, you look at some of the most viral Joe Rogan clips, there's no editing happening. You look at the most viral Nelk Boys clips, there's no editing. Like,
I have every video on my TikToks with my phone.
yeah. I mean, and that's the thing, too. Like, it could be phone. Like, I tell people, like, oh, I need to hire a team. It's like, no, get better at speaking and whip out the phone and speak viral.
Yeah.
It's cheaper for you. It's cheaper for you to do that.
That's what Gary Vee says too.
Yeah,
it's like not about the production quality.
No,
it's about
like,
what you say.
You know, there is advantages in production as far as efficiency. Like that.
Yeah.
That's why I think people like, you know, there's the only way we can film 100 videos. We're gonna blow through our storage in day one.
Yeah.
You know, like, so we need memory cards. We need to be able to start and stop. We need to be able to take notes. We need to be able to, you know, so at some point it's like everybody has to, you know, invest in themselves and treat themselves as a business, and usually that business means like maybe get a light, maybe get a camera and a memory card. You don't have to use it all the time, but it's like my studio, like we have, you know, a filming phone, which is like the filming phone, like
just for filming.
It's an iPhone that I bought and I set up. It's got mics. It's my filming phone. It's not my personal phone. Like, my personal phone is my phone.
Yeah.
Like, you know, same thing, you know, with like I'm like, if I have two cameras always set up, then it's less effort for me. I can sit down and do my job and talk to the camera, you know? So it's like the second you have to start setting things up, I'm sure you know, you set this up. It takes time to set this up. If this was always here, it's more efficient.
Yeah.
You know, so that's, you know, people can progress to that, but at the same point, it's like, let's just, you know, let's set things up to work.
Yeah.
You know, and like being a content creator is that like, there's no business where it's like you're a content creator first, business owner second. In my eyes, like you guys are.
Yeah.
Like you have to use content to get your stuff seen. You have to use content to sell your things. You have to use content to build influence. Like, you have to use content for ads. You have to film ads. Like, you have to, like you have to build a community which is based on content. Like, all the things that would drive any type of business at all is based.
Yeah. On the topic of that, like, you've said you've had thousands of viral clips. Has a client ever came to you and said, "Bro, we got like 50 booked calls for our $10,000 service off this one video"?
I've had amazing results. We work with. I don't want to disclose a lot of their numbers. We work with a dental company. They sell gum. It's cavity fighting gum. I personally filmed a video that got 4 million views on TikTok, 1 million views on Instagram, 1 million views. It went viral every platform, and they sold everything on Amazon in 24 hours.
Damn.
Jeez.
Like, you know, but I've also had conversations with clients where we've gotten them 50+ million views and they saw no increase in sales. You know.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day,
but
I'm
that's
like,
probably their product's fault.
there's things in that that's like, okay, hey, like, let's recognize that we got traffic.
50 million people saw this and didn't want it. Like,
but
what's the problem?
let's also recognize that, okay, maybe we need to change something. But it's also, too, I've had to get really tight on my messaging. Like, I'm not your conversion expert. I get you views.
I was gonna say, you're not a funnels guy.
Yeah.
So even if you get 1 million people to check out their website, if it's shit, like, nothing's gonna happen.
That's not my. I mean, I know how to do that. I'm a marketer, but like, my agency is not optimized to help you convert the eyeballs. It's to get you the eyeballs.
Yep. Yeah.
And I think that's also too something that, from an agency perspective, like, I draw my line in the sand, and I may lose business because of that, you know. But it's also like, this is what we're really good at. Like, it's not my job to do that. If you want us to continue to get you 50 million views, then you should not have me fucking with how you're making money from those 50 million views.
Yeah.
The funny part is people are always like, "Oh, TikTok isn't a good platform for me." Remember that auto care shop where the intern made the video and that got like millions of views? I can't even imagine how many
like I think you're seeing
inspections they got.
I think the problem is it's not that TikTok, like, it's like if people are looking at TikTok to make money from TikTok, I think they're looking at it wrong. Like, I'm a big fan of the Colin and Samir podcast on YouTube.
Yeah, really good.
I love those guys. Shout out if you guys want me on the podcast. Colin, Samir,
welcome.
Yeah, they're avid listeners to this podcast, so they're
it's like a bucket list podcast for me. You know, but they said something like, I think it was Colin, was just like, like TikTok's the main stage, like YouTube Shorts and Instagram and Twitter and all that, like, those are the side stages.
Yep.
Like, you want to be on the main stage. If you're a speaker, you want to be on the main stage. If you're, you know, a celebrity, you want to be A-list. You want to be B or C. So, like, the main stage isn't the money, it's the exposure. So it's like, if you look at TikTok, it's like, you know, what do people do when they see you on TikTok? They look you up on Instagram. They follow you on Instagram. So from an ROI perspective, TikTok drove that ROI because they're not going to buy from you from Instagram.
That's what we always say. Like, we do cold email, right? And if you're a ghost on the internet, it's going to be a lot harder to convert people because they Google you, you're not there. YouTube not there. LinkedIn, Twitter not there. It's like if you exist on all these platforms, then it's way easier to convert people.
Yeah, but it's also the hardest to grow a platform.
Yeah.
So, like, that's the thing. Like, you know, there's conversion experts, and then there's like attention and traffic. You know, it's like
You gotta have both.
You need to be good at both, but you need to define what you're better at.
Yeah.
You know, like, it's easy for me to go, okay, we got 50 million views. Let's look at like why this isn't working now. You know, because it's like, well, if you think this is the best in the world, but you have 1,000 views, you don't have enough like to test. You know, like, people talk about split testing, but it's like, how do you test off 1,000 people? Like, a better test is 1 million.
Yeah, with that many eyeballs, you need to be split testing your funnel, not the content strategy. Like, the reason why we've made 5-6 figures off of Christian's TikTok, even though you have how many followers?
7,000.
Yeah, which
Which is incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The reason why we've done that is because somebody checks out our website, they enter in their phone number, and within 10 minutes of letting them
They get a
watch the
text.
VSL a little bit, they get multiple
To
texts.
be fair, I've kind of fumbled. I got like 5 million views on a video, and it didn't really convert that many followers.
Well,
But
it's really hard. Like, and that's a problem with like the short form industry as a whole, which is like, you guys are content creators and you have an agency. Like, it's very hard. Like, I think the timeline spectrum is what like is very skewed right now.
It's too short.
Like, people expect, like, when we start working with a client, like, you know, 90 days, and it's like 90 days before we can even make an educated decision about your content, you know, and then it's like 6 months. Like we work with King Keto, which is Brandon Carter. Like, he's massive. He's blowing up. Like, Brandon worked with us for a year before he started blowing up.
Wow.
It was like a year of him, like, of us trying to figure out what worked. Like, and now we hit it, and he got 100 million views in the first
And
quarter.
that's what people see is 100 million views, not all
well, the
things
difficulty
that
just
put to
drops
get there.
like every day because you're like, oh, this video went viral. Like, let's make 10 off of this framework, and then it's like that framework worked.
How do you yourself prevent just creative fatigue and just get burnt out? Because, like, you're talking a million miles per minute right now. You're talking about all these
Dude,
different
this
clients,
is
all
like
these
the
different
most
ideas. Like,
valuable podcast I've ever seen.
Yeah, like,
right
I
now.
love to hear that. Well,
honestly.
Well, to quote Grant Cardone, I'm not a candle, I can't burn out. But that is that is a great analogy. I mean, but you guys, I'm on this podcast, and my life is in fucking turmoil right now. Like, I mean, like, I lost my house 3 days ago to a hurricane. Like, I have nowhere to live right now. I'm sleeping in a hotel. Like, so it's like, but like, and maybe this is my personality, and this is how, like, you know, and just for context for people listening, like, last week we had a massive hurricane, like, but prior to the hurricane, I had 3 filming schedules booked and a podcast. So, like, and then for context, it was Brandon Carter invited me on his live podcast last week. Which is huge. So I knew that this is a massive opportunity for me and my business. So, and we also needed to film with Brandon. He's a client and a friend of mine on Wednesday. So Tuesday of last week, I was going to do his live podcast Tuesday night, his podcast on Wednesday, or his podcast on Tuesday night, and we were going to film with him all day Wednesday. Wednesday night, we were going to fly from Miami to Texas. You know, I booked the flights for me, Luis, and Ariana, my operator. And then all day Thursday, we work with the Credit Brothers, their clients. We were going to film with them from 10 to 7-ish. And then on Friday, we were going to film with our another client, Lauren Tickner. Like, and Lauren is the one that we've been having a hard time with her account. So, like, I knew that Friday was a pivotal day for us. Like, we needed to come correct. You know, now Monday or Sunday, Monday, we find out there's a massive hurricane coming for Florida. Yeah. Now I'm like, okay, all the flights are booked, and I've been through many hurricanes in my life. I'm like, well, you know, I mean, let's just hope this isn't a big deal. It stays offshore, which, you know, but they canceled all flights on Tuesday. Or on Monday, they canceled all the flights. Yeah. So I had to make the call to be like, okay, one, I have a family, a daughter, and a fiance. So I'm like, okay, let me make sure they're going to go with a friend of mine to, you know, 2 hours away. They're going to evacuate because I'm in a mandatory evacuation zone. I live on the water. So we had to evacuate. And I was like, okay, I had to make the call. Do I go, do I drive now to Miami, change our flights now to come? Because I was originally going to fly to Miami and then fly home to Tampa on Saturday, you know, with Luis and Ariana and my team. Well, I was like, okay, well, I know that they just canceled all the flights for 2 days out of Tampa, so it's going to be a nightmare getting out of Tampa. But the hurricane doesn't even affect Miami right now.
Yeah.
So we're going to be able to fly in and out of Miami without a problem. So I switched our flights out of Miami, you know, and I was going to fly back to Miami and drive home on Saturday. So that's how, like, last week started, you know, like, so I, you know, and we drove through the hurricane going to Brandon's podcast on Tuesday. you know, it wasn't that bad. I don't want to think like I'm some crazy person. It was rain, like, you know, the hurricane, but it was weather, you know, and I was basing it off of, well, you know, hurricanes have grazed us in the past. Like, I'm not gonna, you know, I did my hurricane prep. I'm gonna like hope that it works, but I still have a job to do. We still need to go film. Like, he needs his content. He's paying me a lot of money per month, you know. So, you know, Tuesday we drove down there. I did the podcast Tuesday night as if, you know, life is not in chaos, you know, and, you know, but in the back of my mind, I'm worried about my family. I'm worried about, like, my house. Like, I don't know what's going to happen. We ate dinner. I woke up Wednesday, you know, as if another day we have to film with Brandon starting at 10 a.m. I went to do my CrossFit workout in Miami at, like, 7:30 in the morning or 7:15, whatever the time it was. And at the end of my CrossFit workout, I get a text from my next-door neighbor that my house is completely underwater.
Jesus.
Like, I'm like literally, I looked at it. I live in Florida. I know my house is fucked. Yeah. I'm like, yep, this is hundreds of thousands of dollars in damage. Like, I looked at all my hurricane barriers. They floated away. I was like, none of my shit. Like, we didn't pull shit off the floor, and I've only owned my house for less than 6 months.
Damn,
I'm
dude.
like, I showed up at 10 a.m. to film Brandon with my team.
Knowing what you...
Knowing that, and Brandon, I texted Brandon, like, I obviously told Brandon, like, a little bit, like, hey, I'm kind of dealing with this right now. Like, you know, that's why I you know, had a team to rely on, like, you know. But Brandon, like, I texted Brandon the next day. So I neglected to go on the rest of the trip. I drove home to meet my family. Obvious reasons, like, Luis and Ariana, like, they went and filmed with the other clients. But, you know, if it wasn't for my family, if it was just me, I would have gone to film and I would have dealt with it when I get back.
Yeah.
Like, I've always been like, if I say I'm gonna, that's like when you texted me, you're like, do you still want to do this? Like, I had every reason to say no.
That's what I was saying. Yeah.
Like, but no, it's like, one, this is routine. This is solace. This is like keeps me normal, and also it's good for my business. Like, and I've definitely learned in the last week that the one thing that makes everything better is more money.
Yeah.
So if I can generate revenue off my content, which I can, I need to do it more now, not less. You know. So when it comes to like the thought of burnout, like, I don't have the luxury to burn out. You know, yes, there'll be days when maybe I'm not as good, you know, but at the end of the day, like, I think this is also too, business owners, like, you know, when it's forward facing, like, content is marketing, like, you have to market, like, even if things are in turmoil, like, you have to show up, like, so that's just, I've always had that mentality, you know, even with like my guarantees and working with these clients, like, you know, I'm going to honor that shit. If I say that, like, that's just how I operate. Dude. You know, and
it's a winning mindset. It's a winning strategy.
Yeah, and I mean, trust me, I make a lot of shitty fucking videos. Yeah. Like, you know, and I've done some bad podcasts, like, you know, where I'm like, fuck, I was not on it. But like,
this one you're on it. What are your
this
thoughts
I was
so far?
excited because, like, I just wanted to not get away, but like, I've been like, I was excited, like, one, to smoke a cigar, and two, to like, all right, let me just go talk about shit that I can talk about, because all my conversations have been like, you know, with insurance adjusters and like, calming my child and my
their questions
wife.
are probably a lot less fun. The insurance adjusters,
like, this is like a mental break, you know, because I know at like 9 p.m. like, I still don't have a place to live. I got to figure that out, you know. And I go to Germany on Wednesday, so I have every opportunity to cancel that trip too. But I'm like, I'm under contract to be there, so I'm like, I signed it. Like, they don't, like, there's people that want to see me there. Like, do I let them down? You know, it's like, I don't want to do that, but like, I'm still gonna go. Like, and then there's all the other shit. Like, you know, we were talking on the way. Like, I mean, you know, like, internet personality and like the perception of what people think versus what like like the internet doesn't want to know my life is in turmoil.
Yeah.
The internet doesn't care. Like, they follow me for whether it be short form video advice or, you know, entertainment on like asking people random questions on the street or like whatever, you know, like, so it's, you know, it is what it is. Like, I'll keep showing up for that because that's, you know, that's the job. Like, and I think the younger demographic, and I don't want to talk too much shit on the younger demo, like, but they don't have that value. No. Like, you know, and maybe it comes from like blue collar work or like, you know, because I've worked shitty jobs.
And like watching your dad grow up too. Yeah,
like, I know what it's like, you know, you don't realize the importance of money and how like I know that this is how I make my money. Like, I had to show up for my team call today. I had to run my team call as if nothing was wrong. Like, you know, at the end of the team call, I told them what happened to me. You know, I mean, yes, they do follow me on Instagram. I posted some stuff, but I was even afraid to share that on my Instagram.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, do I even tell the world that, like, hey, this is what I'm dealing with? Like, you know, I'm glad that I did. And then, like, even now, like, like, you know, Ariana started a GoFundMe for me, and now there's hate comments and people saying that, like, the audacity for me to have a GoFundMe. I'm like, I have to deal with that now?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
you know, so it's like, I like making videos, and I'm going to get views. So it's like, you know, these are things that you sign up for. You know,
Yeah.
it's different. Like, you know, when you put yourself out there, and you guys have experienced it, you went viral, I get what I asked for. You know, like, I asked for views. What comes with views is hate.
Yeah.
You know, but what the other side is, like, yes, you make more money. The more attention you get, the more views you get, the more, you know, provided you have a business of some sort, like, you know, but even just from content, like,
Yeah.
I'm looking at my hurricane situation going like, well, how can I use this to make a video to get 1 million views, because the TikTok Creativity Fund is going to pay me $1,000 for every 1 million views. So at least I can turn this tragedy into money,
Yeah.
you know, and maybe help somebody along the way. Because, like, you know, looking back now, I kind of wish I would have watched the video of what it's like to get your house destroyed in a hurricane
Yeah.
prior to that happening to me.
So you could prevent it. Yeah.
You know, so it's like you know, when it comes to burning out, there's no time for burnout. Like,
Yeah.
it's, you know, like, I'm 40, my daughter doesn't know burnout. Like, I can't be burnt out to her. Like, I had to tell her Wednesday night from an Airbnb in Okeechobee, Florida, that, like, she has no toys. She has nothing to go home to,
Yeah.
Damn.
you know, and then I'm here to do a podcast, you know.
Yeah.
And that's
Two
the way
nights
to
later.
become a good leader.
Yeah.
You just need to do exactly what you say at all times. Cole Gordon talks about that all the time. He's like, the say-do ratio. It needs to
Yeah,
be
it has to be
1-to-1. That's the
1-to-1.
only way. Like, it doesn't matter if you're the most charismatic leader in the world. If you just do what you say you're going to do, you
So
will
how are you gonna
command
ask other
respect.
people to do things if you're not doing what you're supposed to do?
And it's also, too, like, part of it's like, I'm doing this to convince myself. Like, you know, like, because you have to be certain while you're uncertain. At least leaders, like, they don't know that they're doing the right thing.
Yeah.
They have, you know, they have, like, educated opinions and, like, some factual data, or, like, you know, maybe some experience. But, like, you know, when I left, my factual data in my brain said I'm going to come home to my house
Yeah.
because the hurricane's is 100 miles offshore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I'm like, it's a good risk for me to go just continue to do my job.
It's like the story about the guy conquering South America, burning all the boats. Like, in the back of his head, he might have been like, shit, I just burned all these boats.
Yeah,
It's probably
like,
not a good idea. But he
gotta
definitely
work
didn't
now.
let anybody else see that. He's like, fuck it, the best decision ever.
Yeah, so it's you know, I hear people say that they're burnt out, and yeah, there's creative lows, but you have to optimize for that. Like, especially like when we film so many videos, like, not only am I like my creative, you know, I have my own creativity, but I also help like 18 other clients with their creativity too, you know, because they rely on us. So it's like, you know, I've just found like, you know, I like to drink. I drink a lot less. You know, I like, you know, if I work out before my filming sessions, I have better filming sessions. If I miss workouts, I tend to not film as good. If I stay up too late, I tend to, you know, so it's like I'm not huge on, like, you know, being 100%. Like, I'm not a David Goggins, you know, but it's like
Moderation.
knowing that I had 3 filming sessions coming, they didn't drink the whole week prior, you know, like, you know, so it's like, this is a job. I need to treat it as such. And, you know, like, same thing with going to CrossFit. Like, even now I'm like, well, you know, this keeps me, you know, stable. So
Yeah.
let's go do it, you know, so.
Yeah,
Is
you
it
got to
the best
find
workout? Probably not. Like, people seem to hate CrossFit, but like,
You got to find that balance between like David Goggins and Andrew Huberman.
Yeah.
Like, you can't be like the optimizer where everything has to be perfect at all times, and you're probably just never going to be David Goggins who can just do anything no matter what.
And it's also being honest with yourself. Like, you know, okay, like, do I feel good today? Cool. So, and I'm okay. Like, sometimes, like, this might be a bad day, you know. And I mean, like, I kind of, you know, when it comes to my own personal filming, like, you know, I try to batch it. You know, that's what we found with batching. It's easy to get, like, you can, you know, if you're a professional, you can get your mind right for 2 hours.
Yeah.
You know, and that's why we found it to be so successful over, like, flying 2 clients as opposed to Zoom, because when we're in front of somebody, they have blocked off that day. Mm-hmm. It is all they're doing. And if their energy's down, I can talk to them. I'll be like, hey, let's try this. Like, you know,
Drink a Red Bull.
Yeah, do you need a minute? Like, and that's why I'm like, you know, do I consume unhealthy amounts of caffeine? Yes. Like, do I care? No. Like, right now, it's not affecting me. Like, I do blood work. I'm on hormones. Like, I test my
good.
blood every 4 to 6 months. Like, I'm optimized, and that shit, like, you know, nobody talks about that. But, like, I mean, I'm older. So it's like, how do I optimize this? You know, but also, you know, you got to just kind of let shit be. You know, some days I'm just like, yeah, I'm not filming today. I fucking suck today, you know. But
That's
if somebody pays, this is my job.
Yeah.
Like, you know,
love
like,
that.
when you have like a 9 to 5, you have to show up at 9. Like the boss doesn't care if you're not feeling great
Yep.
or you didn't get enough sleep. Like that's how the internet is, you know. So the internet is like the ultimate like leveler, I guess. So that's my long rant on burnout.
That's a good fucking answer.
Yeah, how do you balance because I feel like with content you have to be like confident, charismatic, deemed as successful by the viewers. How do you mix that persona to go viral with vulnerability? Because I've had videos that I was going to record and I'm like, I probably shouldn't because that's not really me.
It's not relatable.
No, it's very relatable, but it's not like me as a person. You know
Like
what I mean?
I think there is a balance of like we call it like, you know, it's like turning the volume way up. Like you have to amplify a character.
Yeah.
So it's like, what are your strongest qualities? And we do this with the clients too. It's like, okay, like if you're not actually rich, like I'm not gonna have you flex and go rent a Lambo and be like, you know. But if you're actually rich, like, is it okay if we just talk about this?
Yeah.
Like, you know, but there is like, and this is one of like, I think Brandon Carter does this. And it's one of my, like, you know, things that I like. I'm trying to extract out of him how to do it. Like he does it, like the art of flexing.
It's like, oh yeah, starter watch is an AP. It's like,
Yeah.
what?
You know, it's like he seems to do it in a way that, like, you hate him, but you love him at the same time. You're like, why do I like that he does?
Because it just
this?
seems so natural. Just like
Yeah.
rolls off the tongue for him.
You know, so like when we talk to clients, you know, it's the details that people tend to skip over. Like, you know, so it's like, yes, like a detail in my life is that, yes, my agency does $1 million a year. It has for 2 years. So I can technically say that I have $1 million agency. The details are, though, I have almost $60,000 in expenses. Like, that's
Every
fact.
single month.
Every single month. That's fact. Like, and there are months, and there has been many months where I haven't made profit on that. I've, you know, where it's like our travel expenses got too high, or like, you know, so it's like, you know, or it's like a detail like, yes, I do have a Louis Vuitton backpack, or I am going to Germany, and they did buy me a business class ticket. You know, like, that's not untrue in my life.
Yeah.
Like, while, like, you know, and it's like, even like navigating this whole hurricane situation for me, it's like, you know, it's like, yes, there's a GoFundMe. I also have an event coming in November 30th through December 2nd where I was going to do a donation-based event anyways. Like, I believe in that type of...
Where is that? Is that in Tampa?
It's going to be in St. Pete.
Oh, so
Yeah.
pretty dope.
So, yeah, I mean, but it's like, so like I'm looking at like, okay, well, obviously, you know, other people started to GoFundMe for me, but like, if I mention this, yes, I can see how this would seem like I am like asking for money when like the internet perception is I have $1 million company. So it's like, okay, well, I was going to do a donation-based event. So if anybody donates to the GoFundMe, you get a free ticket to my fucking event. I'm still going to do the event. I'm planning it. Like literally, I've paid speakers. Like, I'm going to do an event for free that costs me money. Like, I know that. Yes, I will make money off of that. But it's like the details. It's like, here's how I plan to make money from this event. If you're cool with that, then pay this money. I think that's where the internet...
Or it's like, oh, you're going to sell a course. It's like, yes, I am.
Yeah, like, you know...
Precisely.
And it's like, the course is like, if you don't have to buy the course. You want to buy somebody else's, cool. You know, but it's like the... You know, same thing with like... You know, when I talk to like fitness clients, it's like, okay, well, do you help, like Brandon, he helps fitness coaches be, you know, make $10,000 a month. He lives that lifestyle. So it's like, should he not share that he has a Miami penthouse?
Yeah.
That he sits front row at the Heat game? Should he not share that? But is that untrue?
No.
That's his reality. Like, so I think that there's, you know, but yes, that is wildly uncomfortable. Like kind of what you're saying. Like it's uncomfortable for me to share personal details. Like I made it a point, you know, like to always have at least 4 to 6 months of income in my account. But for me, that's almost $250,000 because my expenses are that much. And I don't want to I don't want to let any of my team go, you know, because that generates money. So it's like, but like the reality is like I have 3 employees on my team, or not employees, they're W-2 contractors. Or W-9 contractors.
IRS, FTC,
I'm
please
not,
back off.
I'm not in a W-2 yet, but I might be forced to after this year. That's a reality. You know, they make 6 figures. So I have 3 employees.
That's sick.
There are 3 people on my team that make 6 figures. Like, I didn't make any money last month. You know, like, so it's like...
Bro, people don't understand this. Like, we talk about it as business owners all the time. They see just the top line, and they're like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, and I think it's just it's an uncomfortable transparency that needs to happen. But like, you know, again, it's just like if it is true to you in your life, I don't think you should be ashamed of sharing it. you know, and that is wildly uncomfortable for a lot of people, myself included. But like that's how like I sleep at night, I guess. I don't know, like, but it's inspiring. It's like if you're trying to, like, if you actually know information, like I can literally tell a short form content agency how to charge $6,000+ per month because I've done it.
Yep.
Like, and yes, I can say it for free. I do it. I go live on YouTube all the time. I've shared numerous things on this podcast, but there is also like somebody needs to trust me and or want to aspire to be me to want to invest money in me. And the aspirational is kind of like a term that like might help you as far as if you struggle with that, like what is aspirational about you? Like, why should people follow you? Like the internet, like, you know, is fake in a lot of ways, like, you know, but like when I look at somebody like a Brandon Carter or like a Hermosi or a Cardone or a Pineda, and I'm like, you know, if I was a real estate, I'd want to be the guy. If I loved real estate, I'd be like, yo, I want to be the guy, you know, that has hundreds of properties, and Ryan Pineda does.
Yeah.
You know, or like if I want to be, you know, if I want to own an apartment building, who better to follow than Cardone? Or like, you know, like, so it's like there's reasons. Everybody has these reasons to be followed. Like if you want abs, the person I follow should have abs. Yeah. If I'm going to pay them to get me
Simple
abs.
concept.
You know, like and again, back on like kind of what you were saying about short form editors, like that's the first thing I look at. Like, cause I'm trying to hire editors all the time. Yeah. Like if you're a good editor, show me one video on your account that's got 1 million views. It doesn't have to be of you. Just show me a video that's got 1 million views. Like now, like, or better yet, show me a video that you've edited of me that got 1 million views. Yeah. Without me paying you anything. Yeah. You know, like, so same thing with like Cold Emo. Like, show me a template you used that worked, and let me use it, and I'll be like, fuck, this dude's got his shit right. Yeah. You know, like.
Oh, we did the same thing with our coaching program. Like when we first started, it was like, hey, we'll show you how to get to like 30 to 50K a month because that's as high as we had gotten. Then we started changing the marketing language. Say, hey, we can help you get to 100K a month because we had actually gotten there. Yeah. Now, I mean, we just don't talk about numbers at all because I don't think it's
tough, man. It's really hard, and especially you guys are younger. Like, I mean, the younger you are, the more you have to prove. Like, and that's one thing that we do a lot. Like, same thing with editing. Like, if you make a bold and audacious claim, like, show a screenshot. It has to be provable. Yep. Yeah. Like, and that's what, like, you know, I mean, yes, you can doctor screenshots, but like, at least put something there. Like, you know. And that's what we tell the clients, like, what is factually provable that I can show in your videos? Yeah. Because that's number one reason people don't follow or they don't buy. Yeah. They don't trust you. You know, like, so it's like when you're making content that converts, it's like the only thing that's going to make it convert is trust. You know, because there's a lot of 19-year-old kids that do YouTube automation that make millions. Yeah. I don't trust any of them. You know, like, so like shit like that. It's like there's a lot of short form editing agencies. You know, it would be hard for somebody to compete with my results. Yeah, you know?
I feel like if you have the results, you should be shameless in it.
Yeah, and that's one thing. Like stats and numbers, like that's a flex. Like I was coaching with a guy. He helps autistic children, like, and I mean, if you really break it down, if he doesn't flex his results, he's doing a disservice to the world. Yeah, yeah.
To the next person he can help.
He's not helping autistic children, and who doesn't want to help autistic children? Yeah. Like I want to help them, and I don't know anything about them. Yeah. You know, like, so it's he's like, how do I flex? Like, you know, and it's specifically fitness to autistic children. And I said, how many people have you helped? And he's like, thousands. I said, there's your flex. Who else has that? Yeah. Like, you know, so it's like, and then in Brandon's case, like, he shows up to a filming session with $14,000 worth of brand new Louis Vuitton and Gucci because he wants to get more views. And he's like, I kept the receipt. It's real. Yeah. Like, you know, so it's like, that's real. You know, how do you, like, is that flexing or is that just facts? And people just, you know, but he also shared, he's like, I just have he said, I'm very different with as far as like, I just really don't care what people think. And I think that muscle, again, it's trainable. Yeah. But you also have to know, like, the more you flex and show shit, like, there are repercussions to it. Yeah. Like, people ask you for money. And then literally I'm dealing with it right now. I had, like, on the way here, I had, 2 comments that people were like, I can't believe you had it. I was like, I didn't set that shit up. Like, I told Ari that this is what's going to happen. Like, I love her, you know, but, like, and it's also, too, in, you know, other situations, it's just, you know, people are gonna lash out at you, and you can't stop that. You
Yeah.
know? So
Who cares?
It's like Gary said, like whenever someone ridicules him, he's just like, I feel sorry for whatever's going on in your life, man. I'm praying for you. Like,
I mean, that works to a degree. Like, I love that mindset, but it's also, it hurts. It stings. You know, like, you can't.
Still human at the end of the day.
Yeah, you still can't, like.
on TikTok, it's fun though. You just lean into it.
Yeah. Well, I'm just like, you know, like when shit's at its worst, like somebody like is in my, and I talk from my experience, like it's like I have somebody in my DM selling my coaching program, which I have a coaching tomorrow from 12 to 1:30 p.m. I'm going to show up for it. I'm going to give as much information I can to help the people that are there. But like he was selling all week when like I'm posting pictures of my house destroyed. Like,
Yeah.
like, is that tasteful, or is like I'm just trying to like what's normal? Like,
Yeah.
you know, same thing with like, yes, some dude's mad at me because somebody else started me a GoFundMe and I shared it. It's like, what am I supposed to not pay attention to it? Like, you know, it's there. So I don't know. I guess you get.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
So you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna
Lightning
start the
round?
lightning round real
Lightning
quick.
All right.
It has to be
All
lightning.
right, series of a few quick questions. You give us a quick answer. My question is always, if you could have dinner with any 3 people, who would they be and why?
Dead or alive?
I really enjoy. I would probably do Tate. We can't maybe beep out his name. Just because I want to know how he got so many people to make so many clips of him so fast. I'd probably say Ben Shapiro because I like what he's doing with the Daily Wire, and then Jordan Peterson. Even though I worked with Jordan, I never
that's
actually
sweet.
talked to him.
Never talked to him?
No, I talked to Michaela.
Okay.
But
That's
I
cool
feel like
too,
that'd
though.
be fascinating.
Yeah.
And then maybe Brett Cooper. I just like her content style. So
She's crushing it, too.
Yeah, she is crushing it.
Yeah. That'd be a sweet dinner.
I am fortunate. I have a lot of cool clients, so like my dinners are pretty dope. So,
That's awesome, bro. My question is, if you could just make one last piece of content on all your accounts, what would you say in that video?
I guess right now, just what I'm doing. I'm gonna make it like just what it's like to lose your house in a hurricane.
Very
So-
timely.
That video will be coming within like probably a week.
Completely off topic of what we talked about the whole time. But what's the craziest injury you've had doing BMX? 'Cause I see the scar. And is that like an ACL surgery?
Tore my ACL a long time ago. But the worst one would probably be I broke my tib fib, which is like my foot was backwards.
Ooh.
I actually jumped over a cardboard TV box in a parking lot. Like I just bunny hopped it, and I over pulled, landed, and sat back on my leg. That was probably the craziest. You know, the ACL was just kind of like I just put my foot down a weird way, and it went pop.
Damn.
Nasty.
So,
Bro. That was
Thank you,
like
man.
a fucking masterclass.
Awesome.
Appreciate
That was
you
awesome.
coming on. And last question is just where can the audience find you? Because again, like throughout the episode, they're definitely thinking like, dude, I gotta work
Yeah,
with this
plug
guy.
your shit.
yeah, I mean, my Instagram's like home base. Full transparency. I do read DMs, but I also have somebody in my DMs that will help get your message to the right place. You know, I have a coaching program. I help people get million view videos, and it is partial to agency owners who want to grow their short form content agencies. But Instagram's home base, but it's my name on everywhere. I go live on YouTube try to every week. I'm going live tomorrow night, but it's usually every Wednesday unless I'm traveling like a fool, which I have been.
Awesome,
So,
bro.
But thank you for
Appreciate
having
you
me.
coming
Thank
on.
you,
This
brother.
is awesome, dude.
Appreciate you.
Yeah, dude.